Hi everyone, this is Olga, and here we talk about coaching, self-development, all things emotional intelligence, and mainly how to make your life exactly the way you want to have it. Today we're talking about the universal formula that works every time whenever you want to change absolutely anything in your life, be it your personal life, your business, career, relationships, absolutely anything, any habits. It works every single time. Do like and subscribe to the channel if you find this useful, and do comment down below if you have any questions left, anything that wasn't clear, or anything where you want a hand with, maybe situations where you would like to apply this formula to your own life, things that you want to change in it. Let's dive in. So what is this formula? It's fairly simple, but there is one element in it which is always forgotten, and it sometimes is the difference between getting the change you want and not getting the change you want. So the benefit of the new combined with the cost of the old has to be greater than the cost of the new combined with the benefit of the old. And it's the benefit of the old that's often forgotten. So now let's look into each element just so that you have a clear understanding of what it is. The benefit of the new is fairly self-explanatory. What the change gives you. Why do you want it? The cost of the old is also pretty straightforward. Why do you want to change? What is it in the way things are right now that you don't like and you want to get rid of? So again, why do you want to change? Both of those, the cost of the old and the benefit of the new. Now, the cost of the new is what effort it will take to create those new habits, behaviors, thought patterns, whatever it is. What effort will it take to achieve that? Sometimes change brings discomfort. Sometimes it may even cause conflicts, especially if you're trying to stand your ground and trying to protect your boundaries for the first time in your life. And people around you are like, oh, well, why are you being so hard? You've been always so nice. Why are you being so hard now? You can get some conflicts in there. So there may be a cost associated with the new, but at least there is some effort. If you remember from our video about the neuroplasticity, I'll attach it here. Doing anything new creates some efforts because neurons prefer to go by the path they know well, not by the new path. Until this path becomes a habit, becomes common and constant and automatic, there will be a little bit of effort associated. Maybe more, maybe less, depending on how big the change is. The benefit of the old, or the benefit of the status quo, is the big issue. Sometimes it's also referred to as a secret benefit. Secret, I think, again, because it's so often overlooked, especially when we're talking about bad habits or behaviors that are not deemed so successful and productive and are not praised by our society, but rather looked down on. We try to pretend that there is nothing good about them, like smoking, there's nothing good about smoking, or sitting on your couch all evening just watching Netflix. It's like there is nothing good about it. It's just like, well, it's not really a very good behavior. It doesn't give me anything. That is not true. If it wasn't giving you nothing, you wouldn't be doing it. It does give you something. And before we can move to the change, we do need to explore this secret benefit, or the benefit of the old. And the way to explore it is with curiosity and without any judgment. So just forget anything that society ever told you about what a good, productive, healthy, smart human being ever does, and just look at it as a blank canvas, as if you are somewhere on a space station and there is no one, in an uninhabited island. There is no one around you whatsoever to tell you whether it's good or bad. We're just looking at it as is. So if I'm spending every night just watching Netflix and not doing anything else, not going out for a nice walk, not doing any yoga, not taking on a CPD course, not even reading any smart books, not even, socializing with friends and playing board games, it gives me something. Maybe it gives me the time to lie down and rest. And rest is important. Maybe it gives me time to switch off the stress that I have at work so that my brain can be entertained with something that has nothing to do with whatever it is I'm doing 9 to 5. Maybe I'm watching Netflix while cuddling with my partner and it gives me the physical contact. And we all need some physical contact. And maybe it gives me this safe space that makes me feel calm and safe and appreciated and just really nice and relaxing. It gives me something. We need to be very clear about it, but the way we look at it when we explore that secret benefit of the old is with compassion, with understanding, and no judgment. So we're just curious about what is it? What might it be? The fact that we overlook this secret benefit is why often we're trying to achieve change, but it's not happening. Because we need this something that it gives us. So we just accept that whatever that need is, it's there. We don't say, well, I don't want to smoke because smoking is bad and I don't need it for anything at all. It's just completely bad and it's a bad habit and I'm not going to do it ever again. No. It gives you something and you need it. Just accept that you need it. We're not judging why you need it. Maybe in a year or 2 or 5 years you won't need it, but right now you do. And that's all that matters. So if you want to quit smoking, we need to look at that secret benefit so that I will tell you in a bit what we can do with it to achieve change. The truth is, if we're not exploring the benefit of the old, if we don't know what it is and we pretend it's not there, then we don't see why the change doesn't happen. And the change doesn't happen when the cost of the new combined with that benefit of the old, whether we know of it or not, is greater than the benefit of the new combined with the cost of the old. So how to tip the scales so that you can achieve that change that you want. There are 3 things you can do. Number 1 is get very, very, very clear about what the benefit of the new is and what the cost of the old is. Why do you want to change in the first place? And one thing that may also help here is look at it both short-term and long-term. There can be short-term benefits of the new, but there can be also long-term benefits. Same with the cost of the old. There can be short-term costs, but there can be also long-term costs. And when you're defining the benefits of the new and the cost of the old, try to be as specific as you can. If I want to start living a healthy lifestyle and not eat junk food ever again in my life, having a healthy body is not very specific. I can't feel it like, well, so what? I'm going to be healthy. Boring. What is it that it really is going to give me? Maybe if I have an example of someone who has diabetes and the quality of their life is really suffering, they're struggling a lot, then it may be more specific. Like, okay, I don't want to have diabetes. That's why I'm changing my diet so that I have lower risk of diabetes. But again, lower risk of diabetes, it's kind of very vague. It's still very vague. So try to think of something that's very specific and it's going to really speak to your heart and feel like, yes, I want this change now. So for example, maybe like here in Sicily, we are living on the 4th floor. The ceilings are very high and it's quite high up to climb the stairs. So if I decided I wanted to start training, a very specific short-term benefit of it would be, I'm going to be going up the stairs easily without getting out of breath. It's a short-term benefit, but it's very specific. Or I love hiking and I could do longer hikes then, because then I will have a lot more stamina to do those longer hikes that I enjoy so much. Try to think of something that speaks to you, both in the short term and in the long term. Same with the cost of the old. Maybe if I continue to eat this junk food, it actually tastes really good, but then my stomach feels really sore afterwards and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired and I'm so full and I can't move and it's very unpleasant and maybe I have some problems with my digestive tract, etc., etc., etc. So try to think what are the costs and be as specific as you can. Number 2, lower the cost of the new. Remember, our neurons are lazy, they don't want to do extra work, they're taking the easiest path possible. The path of the least resistance. If you know sales, you know what I'm talking about. But it applies to absolutely everything in our lives. The easier it is, the more likely we are to do it. So whatever it is, this new behavior that you want to do, like for example, I want to start training. How can I do it in the easiest way possible? So maybe instead of signing up for gym classes 4 times a week, if I'm a complete rookie, I've never done any exercise before, maybe try to think of something else. Maybe instead of taking the elevator, I'm gonna go upstairs by foot. Or maybe find something that really is fun, like a fun physical activity. Like maybe instead of doing gym that you don't like, maybe go swimming if you like swimming. Or maybe you can cycle. Or maybe you can find a dance class that you like. Or sports that you want to play. Doesn't matter, but try to think of the easiest way to do it. Number 3, and that's often where magic happens. Add something else into your plan that will give you that same benefit that the old used to give you. So if it was the rest you get while watching Netflix, well, how else can I rest? What other situations I can introduce that I will get the same thing that I was getting from the old behavior that I want to change in my life? It sounds really simple, and it really is, but this is very important. If you just do that, the chances of you tipping the scales are so much higher than even if you just go and define all of the benefits of the new very, very specifically and very clearly, and the same with the costs of the old, and you also lower the costs of the new, so it's easy to do, but you're losing the benefit that the old used to give you, and there is nothing to replace it with. The scales might still stay with the status quo. You might still not achieve the change that you want. If you don't bring something in that will give you that benefit, you can keep it. There are multiple ways of achieving the same thing, so just think of something else. If it was a cigarette to release your stress and anxiety, how else can you achieve that? If it was a social drink but you don't want to drink anymore, well, how else can you socialize? What else can you do? Maybe you just go for a low alcohol cocktail next time if you don't want to drink that much, if it gives you headaches or whatever it is. It doesn't matter whether it's a bad habit, or whether it's anything else that you don't like. Let me give you a personal example. I feel it's often easier to understand an idea when you have a clear example of how it plays out in real life. So, for me, a behavior that I'd like to change is usually when I wake up, I grab my phone straight away and I start scrolling. Instagram, Facebook, whatever, notifications, just something really. I can even check the weather. I don't care what it is. I just grab my phone and without even thinking, I'm already there. And I don't really like doing that, but I do find that I do it almost every morning. Instead, what I would like to do is get out of bed almost straight away, maybe just get myself a quick cuddle and then get up and start my day and maybe have a little exercise or at least a little stretch. But I usually feel just too lazy to do it. It's just like, oh God, I can't be bothered. So what is the benefit of the new? If I want to get out of bed and do my stretches, I will feel more energy. I will probably be healthier in the long term, but the main thing is that I will feel like my body is awake and I'm ready for the new day. I will probably have less pains in the morning, and in general, I will feel happier. And I know this because when I do it, this is how I feel. It's not a hypothetical. I tried it and I know what the benefits are. The costs of the old, I kind of feel like I wasted another morning. Sometimes I just get depressed if I saw the news on my phone, and usually there is some news on the phone, and then I feel like my mood is ruined for the day. But most of the time it just feels like I wasted the time. It didn't really give me anything. What is the cost of the new? How I can lower the cost of the new? Getting out of bed in the morning usually does feel like an effort. So how can I make it easier for myself to do that? Well, first of all, I can make sure that I'm going to sleep on time, that I don't stay up too late, because if I had enough sleep, it's usually easier to get up. I can talk to my partner Daniel and agree with him that we get out together. It's usually much easier to get up if we are both getting up rather than if he's still staying in bed and playing on his phone or whatever it is he's doing on his phone and I have to get up. Why do I have to get up? I want to be in bed too. I can talk to him and we can agree to get up together, because I know he has a similar thing. He also wants to get out earlier, but instead we both just stay on our phones. What else can I do? If I want to do the morning stretches, maybe I can prepare everything that I need to do my stretches before I go to bed. Like if I need a yoga mat or something, I can get it all laid out so that all I need to do when I roll out of bed is literally just start stretching. And what is the benefit of staying in bed and scrolling on my phone? It sounds like, well, it doesn't give me nothing. I could just give it up. Willpower. No. If we really look into it, it gives me the feeling that I'm free. I don't have to go anywhere. It gives me that feeling like the whole morning is mine, the whole day is mine, there's no stress, I don't have to do anything. It just gives me the rest time, the downtime really. So how can I still get that, but not by picking my phone first thing in the morning? Well, maybe I could grab my phone while I'm having breakfast and just plan that I have a longer breakfast, longer time for breakfast, and I have my breakfast at home, and maybe I prep the breakfast from the night before, so it's super easy, and then I can sit with my cup of tea or my orange juice or whatever it is that I fancy that day, and scroll my phone then, and then feel like, well, actually I don't need to go anywhere. But by then I've already gotten up, I already stretched, so my body feels the energy for the day. Maybe I will not even need that much scrolling then, I don't know, but I could try that. I could still fit in something that gives me that time in the morning where I don't have to do anything. Well, I hope my example helped you think of your own example of what you might want to change in your life. Can be something small, can be something big, doesn't matter. The formula works every single time. Let's just sum it up once again, what it is, just so that it stays with you. You have the benefit of the new combined with the cost of the old. It has to be greater than the cost of that new thing and the benefit you used to get from that old behavior. And the way you can tip the scales is be very, very specific and very clear of what the benefits of the new and the costs of the old are. So you're very clear on why do you want the change in your life. Number 2 you can do is lower the cost of that new behavior. And number 3, introduce something else into your plan that will provide you with that same benefit that you used to get from the old behavior. I hope this was useful. If it was, do like and subscribe. It does help to promote the channel so that other people can find this content as well. And do comment what other topics you want me to talk about. I'm very open to your suggestions. And of course, if you have any questions or anything else you might want my help with, do comment as well. Have a great week, and I will see you all next Wednesday. The original idea was to film here, but to have the background from what you can see out of the window, because it's a very pretty view. So let me show you. We are in Sicily right now. So look at that. Have a good week, everyone.